I confess I've seen it in your eyes. Many of you, my seasoned brothers, anticipate disrespect as a roaring lion, a blatant challenge you can face head-on and conquer. But that's a lie, a dangerous illusion. The true architects of your emotional exhaustion, the silent thieves of your peace and personal power, don't operate with such crude theatrics. They arrive veiled, disguised as concern or light-hearted banter, chipping away at your dignity so subtly you may not even perceive the assault. This quiet erosion is far more dangerous than any overt challenge. In the next few moments, I will expose the brutal truth about these hidden incursions, the unspoken game being played against your spirit, and reveal what nobody else has the courage to admit. This disguised disrespect, often presented as well-meaning advice or a playful jab, targets the very core of your seasoned experience. It makes you question your own perceptions, leaving you vulnerable to subtle manipulations that drain your spirit and diminish your presence. Now, let us examine these invisible assaults, these subtle actions that compromise your standing. The first manifestations of disrespect are rarely catastrophic events. Instead, they appear as minor, almost imperceptible shifts, like the first hairline fractures in a majestic structure. These seemingly benign occurrences, if left unaddressed, begin to erode the very bedrock of your relationships, weakening the entire edifice of your presence. Understanding these initial cracks is paramount to preserving your inner fortress. The first fundamental sign is the interrupted story. You begin to speak, sharing a lifetime of accumulated wisdom or a poignant anecdote, only to be cut short, your narrative dismissed or hijacked. Your insights, painstakingly gathered through years of experience, are treated as mere filler, less important than the eager interjection of another. This isn't just rude, it's a deliberate, albeit often unconscious, invalidation of your unique perspective and contribution. This constant truncation of your voice signifies a deeper issue, a subtle message that your time and your words hold less value. The senior man, rich in tales and hard-won knowledge, finds his wisdom left unspoken, his contributions silenced. You are forced to witness your own narrative being dismantled, leaving you to question if your insights are indeed antiquated, a form of self-doubt that further deepens these foundational cracks. Another insidious signal is the benevolent dismissal. You offer an opinion, a well-reasoned perspective forged in the crucible of experience, only to be met with a condescending smile or a pat on the back, and the casual phrase, "That's sweet, but things are different now." Your counsel, born from decades of navigating life's complexities, is gently but firmly relegated to the realm of the obsolete. This benevolent dismissal, cloaked in feigned empathy or a dismissive chuckle, strips your words of their weight and your mind of its relevance. It implies your vast repository of knowledge is no longer applicable, reducing your active participation to that of a nostalgic observer. These cracks in the foundation, though minor now, will quickly spread, and the next signs you must learn to detect are even more insidious and challenging to identify. These hairline fractures soon widen, revealing deeper structural flaws in the fortress of your self-regard. The silent escalation continues with the delegated decision. Suddenly, your counsel is sought only for trivialities, the choice of dinner or the color of a cushion. never for pivotal family or business matters. The senior man discovers his domain of influence shrinking, not through overt confrontation, but quiet redirection, a subtle removal from the strategic core of existence. This insidious pattern is the first significant debit from your emotional bank account. Each instance where your profound wisdom is bypassed for inconsequential decisions, yet your presence is still demanded, chips away at your intrinsic value. You are subtly relegated to a decorative role, a figurehead rather than a guiding force. Your power, once a tangible asset, begins its silent, unacknowledged withdrawal, leaving you in an unsettling state of financial uncertainty. Then comes the public correction. You offer a fact, a memory, or an observation, only to be promptly and often loudly corrected in front of others. This isn't about accuracy, it's a strategic public demotion, designed to undermine your authority and make you second-guess your own intellect. It's a calculated assault on your credibility, crafted to isolate you, further eroding your fiscal strength in the eyes of others. Even more insidious is the comparative praise. You receive a backhanded compliment, such as, "You're so much better than those other men your age who complain constantly." This isn't genuine praise. It's a subtle tactic to isolate you from your peers, while implying your compliance is an exception to a generally undesirable rule. It feels like a credit, but it's a disguised debit, leaving you indebted to an artificial manipulative standard. Each of these subtle slights, these unacknowledged indignities, accumulates like compound interest against your spirit. They are not isolated incidents, but carefully orchestrated withdrawals from your emotional bank account, leaving you in a profound deficit of self-worth. You are left depleted, questioning the very currency of your experience. What is the current balance of your emotional bank account, gentlemen? And are you prepared for its impending bankruptcy? But understanding the signs is only half the journey. Now let us delve into why they happen and how to transform this into your power. You have diligently identified the individual skirmishes, the minor battles against your self-worth. Yet, focusing solely on each slight is akin to winning a few tactical encounters while losing the overarching war. The senior man must shift his gaze from reactive defense to strategic offense, understanding the deeper psychological landscape at play. This is not about fighting battles, it is about winning the war for your inherent respect. The true adversary is often not the individual delivering the slight, but the ingrained fear within you, the yearning for external validation that renders you vulnerable. Psychology tells us that a man who has not yet cultivated an impregnable inner fortress will unconsciously invite incursions. You are a general, allowing enemy scouts into your territory because you fear the silence of an empty camp. This internal conditioning, the need for approval, is the very breach in your defenses, weakening your resolve in the larger campaign. To win this war, you must understand that every perceived battle lost was merely a symptom of a deeper strategic flaw, your willingness to compromise your own sovereignty for transient acceptance. The senior man who understands this shifts his strategy from engaging in endless futile skirmishes over petty slights to fortifying his own borders. This new campaign is not about demanding respect from others. It is about manifesting an unshakable self-respect that inherently commands it. Your greatest weapon is self-sufficiency. Consider the strategic withdrawal. When a general retreats, it is not always a defeat, but a tactical regrouping to secure a stronger position. For you, gentlemen, this means embracing self-chosen solitude not as a sentence, but as a strategic advantage. It is in this sanctuary that your true power is forged, free from the noise of external expectations. You rebuild your emotional arsenal, sharpening your discernment and solidifying your sense of self-worth. This is the new front line of your dignity. When you cease fighting individual battles for validation and begin waging the war for absolute self-mastery, the entire dynamic shifts. You move from a position of reacting to external aggressions to commanding internal peace. The senior man, rooted in his own autonomy, becomes impervious to the subtle manipulations that once drained his spirit. You reclaim the high ground, dictating the terms of engagement and establishing a new, unassailable dominion over your life. Are you ready to lead this definitive campaign? You have identified the battlegrounds, gentlemen, but understanding the terrain is only the beginning. True disrespect often finds fertile ground not in external aggression, but in the subtle voids you unknowingly permit within your own presence. It is less about what they do to you, and more about the psychological space you leave open for such incursions. This crucial distinction shifts the locus of power entirely into your hands, a truth many overlook. Listen closely now, for I am about to share a profound secret, a truth mature women intimately understand, but rarely articulate. It is not aggression, nor demanding attention, that earns their deepest, most absolute respect. Instead, it blossoms from an unshakable, calm detachment, a profound self-sufficiency, and an unwavering commitment to your own boundaries. This is the quiet, gravitational force that truly captivates. Consider the concept of weight or presence, a natural, almost elemental force. A man possessing true gravitas radiates an intrinsic value, an energetic density that compels respect without a single spoken word. He is not defined by external reactions, but by his internal coherence. This innate solidity acts like a magnetic field, drawing others towards his orbit, compelling them to acknowledge his inherent worth. In stark contrast, the man who lacks this inner weight is perceived as light, easily swayed, and ultimately disregarded. He is a leaf in the wind, buffeted by every emotional current, constantly seeking external validation to anchor his sense of self. This perceived malleability, this emotional porosity, makes him inadvertently vulnerable to disrespect. Without an inner core, others unconsciously feel they can move him. The senior man who cultivates this internal gravity understands that his value is not negotiable, nor is it dependent on others' opinions. His presence becomes a stable point in a chaotic world, a beacon of self-possession. Others instinctively feel this equilibrium and calibrate their own behavior accordingly. You need to become the immovable object, radiating calm, not the easily moved one. This leads us to the heart of the feminine secret, a psychological truth as reliable as any law of physics. We, women, cannot, on an instinctive level, disrespect a man who is genuinely at peace with the possibility of losing us. This statement is not a threat. It is a confession of an intrinsic emotional reality. Your detachment, your self-containment, is your most potent allure. It is precisely this serene independence, this profound inner contentment, that communicates your non-negotiable value. When you embody a state of being where your happiness is not contingent upon her presence, a powerful dynamic shifts. The fear of losing you transforms into a potent form of respect, not out of manipulation, but from a recognition of your inherent, sovereign strength. Your unshakable boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but defining lines that protect your inner sanctuary. They are a declaration of self-worth, a clear signal that your emotional sovereignty is non-negotiable. When you stand firm, even in the face of emotional pressure or subtle tests, you communicate an integrity that is profoundly attractive. This firmness is the bedrock of lasting reverence. This calm self-sufficiency is the ultimate display of power. It signifies that you are whole, complete within yourself, and do not need another to validate your existence. This removes the leverage others might unconsciously seek to exploit. A man who needs nothing, paradoxically, attracts everything of value. Your inner fortress becomes a desired destination, not a permeable border. Therefore, gentlemen, understand that your presence is your currency. Cultivate your internal weight, your personal gravity, through detachment, self-sufficiency, and unwavering boundaries. This inner work makes you impervious to the subtle slights and manipulations that once eroded your spirit. You will find yourself not battling for respect, but effortlessly commanding it like a force of nature. The journey culminates here, gentlemen, with a profound truth you must etch into your very being. The respect you command from the world, particularly from women, is never truly given. It is always reflected. It is the undeniable echo of your own internal self-worth, the palpable emanation of a self-sovereignty cultivated within. The senior man understands that his value is self-derived, an unshakable core that dictates the terms of engagement. Your external world merely mirrors the landscape of your inner domain. Consider yourself a lighthouse, standing firm against the relentless storms of life and the emotional currents of relationships. You are meant to be an unshakable structure, a steadfast beacon amidst the turbulent seas that inevitably arise. We, women, instinctively seek this unwavering presence, this certainty in a world often fraught with chaos. Your stability is not just comforting, it becomes an essential navigation point for those around you, guiding them safely. These storms, these emotional tests you encounter, are not always malicious. They are often unconscious attempts to gauge the integrity of your structure. We test your boundaries, probe your resolve, and push against your limits, not to destroy you, but to ascertain if your foundation is truly solid. We need to know that you will not crumble, that your presence is a genuine refuge, and that your inner strength will not easily buckle under pressure. Reflect on this, gentlemen. Is your lighthouse fully operational, its light steady and unyielding, or do its beams flicker with uncertainty, wavering with every passing breeze of external opinion? This is the critical question. Cultivate that internal gravity, that serene self-sufficiency, and understand that your autonomy is your greatest asset. It is the fortress of your peace and the wellspring of your profound influence. This unwavering inner strength transforms your world. If these insights have resonated, if you are ready to fortify your own lighthouse, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us build a community of men who understand this power. For we, women, confess an intrinsic truth. A man's self-mastery is his greatest magnet.